flexibility in your running game to use two of them in the same backfield?
Yeah, we can do anything we want. It's, when you use two in the same backfield, that other guy doesn't always like playing fullback. It's usually what it is, but we can do anything we want, and if we see a reason to do it, we will.
Do you think there are enough carries to go around for all three of them to be involved in the same game?
Never really thought about it because I don't worry about those kind of things. I don't ever think about how many carries they're getting. We keep trying to run the ball, and whoever's in there, if they're doing good, usually stick with them. We're trying to spell a guy, and the other guy comes in and is on a roll, you stick with him. I very rarely know how many carries guys got in the game. I try to get a certain amount of rushes and try to attack the defense, but that's something I usually don't think about.
But more to that point, Kyle, do you believe that a runner needs, to get in a groove rather than in for 3 plays, out for 3 plays?
Yeah, I think every situation is different. I think that'll probably depend on the guy. I haven't been around a lot of situations where you're getting guys in back and forth and always rotating them. When a guy's running good, I've always gone with him. And when he's tired, he takes himself out, and you don't hesitate with the other guy. When we got 3 guys who we trust and who we think are good backs, like I say, it really doesn't bother me who's in. So he asked Wilbur to keep up with the substitutions. He asked those guys to stay fresh and let them all go.
Kyle, it's been a while since the Manziel question, so here goes.
All right.
Because of the schedule so far, he hasn't played on the road. We haven't appeared in a road game with him. Is that off the table, or more confident in using him on the road?
Yeah, nothing's off the table. That's just a coincidence. Like I said a couple weeks ago, that's always week to week. Depends on what the defense is doing, how we see stuff, whether we think we should use him or not. But whether we're at home or on the road doesn't matter.
Mike Pettin had said that, going back and watching tape last year, he thinks that Mitchell Schwartz might be better in the scheme that you have. What have you seen in Schwartz? Because he had slow starts the last 2 seasons, and this year seems to be playing a little bit better to start the season.
I've been real happy with Mitchell. I think he's done a real good job for us. I think he's done a real good job in the run game especially. He's a very smart player. He knows exactly what we're asking him to do from a technique standpoint, from an assignment standpoint. He does his job. I'm not always, I'd love a guy to kill a guy and deplete a guy and make a great highlight tape for everyone all over, but that really doesn't matter. What it comes down to is blocking your guy and making sure that you don't mess up. And if you usually get on your guy, you did your job as an O-lineman, and you give all the skill players a chance to make plays, and I think Mitchell's done a good job of that.
What was Brian doing so well during that stretch against Baltimore where he completed all those passes in a row? And then did anything change in the fourth quarter, or is it just tough circumstances and not as many attempts?
No, I think Brian played very well versus Baltimore. I think it was his best game yet. I think, as the game went, for anybody, when you get on a streak and you're completing a lot of passes, you get confidence. And I didn't think he missed many, especially on the roll you're talking about. Towards the end, we had that chance on the 3rd down to stay on the field instead of putting our defense back, and he didn't make a perfect throw to Hawk, and I wish he made a better throw, and I wish Hawk made that catch anyways, but that was a tough one, and it was one of the reasons we weren't able to win that game.
Has he kind of really settled that position down? I mean, for years here, as you know, it's been so volatile, and there have just been so many, but with what you've seen from Brian in these 3 weeks, do you get the sense that he's really kind of calmed the waters at that position now, and there isn't as much controversy or debate?
I think when you play well, like he has done, and like he did 2 weeks ago, that calms down controversy. But you guys know just as well as I do that this league is week to week, and if you have a bad game, this press conference will be totally different next week. So, I think Brian's done a good job. I definitely am comfortable with him. I think the team's comfortable with him, and he's played very well, and I hope he keeps it up. And you really can't truly answer that question until the end of the year.
When you look at his game on the road against the Steelers, being able to come back like he did, and then the game I'm sure you watched him play against Minnesota last year, where he overcame the 3 interceptions, give you a little bit of comfort that you have a guy that can keep his poise and play well in the road.
Yeah, Brian's a good quarterback. He did it in college, and he's done it in his opportunities he's gotten in the NFL. And you just hope that he continues to get better, which I think he has each week this year. And you're getting better or worse, and I hope he continues to get better.
Kyle, the running backs, how supportive they've been of each other, and because obviously they've expressed their confidence in themselves, and you're worried that if one of them loses some carries, he might not take it well, and how they've been working together.
They're good. They're funny. They're competitive. They definitely all believe in themselves, which is what you want. They all think they're the man, and they want to show it every single play. And if they weren't like that, I'd be disappointed. So every guy wants every single carry, but they're also pulling for each other also. And anytime guys don't get to do as much because someone else gets it, everyone's naturally disappointed. But you got a group of guys, all three of those, and the fullbacks in that room, and other guys that you guys haven't seen play yet. They do pull for each other, and they all want to be the guy. But when it comes down to it, it's about helping us win, and they've all been very good about that.
So when Ben says early in camp that I'm the best running back in that room, that's fine for you. I mean,
it doesn't bother me. I definitely expect Ben to say that, and I expect all the other guys to say the same thing, whether they say it in the media or not. They all think that way. And in order to play in this league and at this level, you got to think that way.
Would you like to throw the backs more, and has that been a function of having rookies in there up until now?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends what the defense is giving you. You want to attack the weakness of the defense, and you feel if you have a better matchup there, then that becomes your focal point. It hasn't been a focal point for us yet. There will come a time in the season where that's where we have to go. Try to put in an offense that can keep a defense honest, and if a defense is going to completely ignore your backs, you have to go to them. And when that does happen, our guys got to step up, whoever it is, and make those plays.
Was Jordan Cameron sort of a decoy in the last game, and does he have to be that now?
No, he wasn't totally a decoy. We went to him early in the game. You call passes. You never force somebody the ball. Coverages didn't always work out for him. But he got some opportunities early in the game and just didn't get much later. On that last play of the game, that was called for him. We didn't get the right coverage for it, so he went to Hawkins. But we're not going to force anything to anyone. When the year is all said and done, if he stays healthy and does his job, his stats will come around. And if he stays healthy, is a big thing. But we never really force the ball to anyone.
How would you characterize the start Batonio's had to his rookie season?
I think he's done a very good job. It's been as expected. We all had very high expectations for him. I'm spending a second-round pick on him, expecting him to come in and be a starter for us right away, and he's lived up to it. I think he's a very talented guy who played tackle in college and is capable of playing tackle in the NFL. I do believe he's at his best position, though, that's guard. And I think what makes him so good, besides his talent, is he loves football. He really enjoys it out there. He bounces around, he celebrates, and really enjoys coming out to play. And you don't always get that with the linemen, so he's a pretty special guy.
No, you've gotten some pretty good production from this receiving core here in the first 3 games. What's made them so effective, and how confident are you that they're going to not only stay at that level but even elevate as the season goes on?
I think we have a good group of football players. There's not a bad player out there. I know there's not that obvious number one guy that all people can recognize, but there's not a bad player out there. They're all pros in terms of it's very important, all of them. Every single second they're in here, they're all guys who have made it, who think they're going to get cut the next day. They're self-made guys who put everything into it and are always trying to do their best, and they're guys you don't really have to push because they're pushing themselves more than anyone. And when you got guys like that, it makes you as a coach want to work harder for them because they deserve success, and they work their tail off. The game's not too big for them. They don't mind getting hit. They catch the ball. They get up the field. All of them block, and they all just try to do their job, and they don't worry about anything else, and they've done a real good job of that in these 3 weeks.
What have you learned about this other running back, Winston?
All I've learned, because you only got to see a few carries from him in the preseason. That's all I knew of him. And then out here, you get to see him on the practice field, mainly on practice squad type stuff. But you got a big guy who runs hard, and he's got some talent. A guy we're looking forward to working with. How injuries go in this league, there'll only be a matter of time before he's needed, and I expect him to be ready when that happens.
As of now, do you
Only time for 2 more?
pretty much know how you're going to use the backs, or you need a little bit more, another practice to decide that?
No, I don't ever really decide. I know who, as Coach said, if Ben Tate is totally healthy and stuff, he'll start the game. What that means is he'll be out there the first play if he's healthy. We won't know that till after practice tomorrow, and then we'll discuss that going into Saturday. But besides that, it's you tell them who's starting, and you tell them to be ready whenever you're called upon. And something I don't pay too much attention to during the game. I just keep trying to hand it off and hope every one of them who gets it does their job.
What jumps out at you about the Titans defense?
What's that?
The Titans defense, what stands out to you?
Well, just going against Ray Horton over the years, I think it's a very good scheme. It's very similar. There's a couple differences, but it's very similar to Pittsburgh's, which, as everyone knows, it's a scheme that's been around for a long time. That's very sound and very tough to go against. Causes a lot of problems. They got some good players. Number 99 is good of a player as I've seen on tape this year. He wrecks a lot of havoc, so I think we'll have our hands full.
Thanks, Al.